Their team. I'm just looking at a heat pump. Actually, it's just an air conditioning unit. But I ran the heating in the house. Heat kicked on, was working. A little while later, I turned it off and then turned the AC on after letting it sit for a few minutes. And then I let it. 10 minutes later, I came back with the infrared camera to measure the temperature splits at the return and registers, and they're the same temperature, so it wasn't putting out any cool air. So then I went through the process of double checking the thermostat to make sure that I'd actually engaged it and had turned it on at the thermostat, and everything looked like it was on. It said cool on, and the temperature was lower than the inside temperature, so it should have been kicking on hypothetically. And so then I went and came out here to the exterior, and I'm looking at the AC unit. I'm gonna turn the camera around now, and I don't know if we'll be able to hear it on the video, but I can hear a little humming noise inside the unit. So I can hear a little, like, kind of an electrical humming noise in there. And so it's getting power. Seems like it's trying to work. Of course, I looked inside the service disconnect to make sure that the disconnect fuse was tight and installed and everything, and that looked like it was good. But so then there's a few things that caused me a little suspicion, and one is that this AC unit is 17 years old. So generally they say, even if you Google it, it's like 10 or 12 years is kind of when they start having a higher likelihood of parts going out and things like that. So it's a little bit older. And then looking at it, I did not remove these panels. So it looks like, somebody's been maybe trying to work on it or do some diagnostics. And so that stuff just kind of raises a little suspicion. So I'm going to mark this down as inoperable during the inspection. And then I had pictures of my infrared camera at the return and at the register. So having those pictures and the temperatures noted kind of helps give our clients some ground for, we had some evidence recorded of what the temperatures were. And then on a side note, anytime I find something like this, where there's always a chance that it could just be something I did wrong with the settings, or maybe I didn't know how to do the thermostat correctly or anything like that. Anytime I find a mechanical piece of equipment that doesn't seem to be working, I just always say, hey, it didn't seem to be working. I tried everything I knew how to. It could be smarter than me. It's kind of a lighthearted joke. It usually gets a chuckle, but I just, I mentioned that, it could be smarter than me. That also gives us some room that if maybe the seller comes in and knows exactly what buttons to push and gets it to kick on, it kind of helps protect us when we might get thrown under the bus. It's like, yeah, some things are going to be intricate and a little smarter than we are, or have some nuances that we're not going to know every single thing about. So I like that phrase when there's a mechanical thing that's not working, is just mentioning that and making a joke that it could be smarter than me. And it kind of helps take a little of the tension out of the moment when we're explaining things to a seller or buyer or an agent that something may not be working. So hopefully that's helpful, and hope you're all having a great day.